Welcome to Dynamite Delight, the first show of 2020. That sounded pretty good. I'm getting used to this. Alright. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everything was going well for you. What did we get in this show? We got pretty much somewhat of the same, but with some twist to it. And a little bit of adjustment. Now, I'll explain it in this respect. The one major problem that me and many other reviewers have had is that AEW has not been taking care of their product in the sense of production value. There's been problems with lighting, there's been problems with sound, there's been problems with picture-in-picture, which, let's be honest here, picture-in-picture is still a problem. Audio glitched more than a few times during the show, like when they had some type of video package or some type of backstage segment, or, well, I'll give it to you like this. SCU had their moment and audio kind of glitched. When it came to Darby Allin's vid pack, it seemed to be alright, but there was an audio glitch while we're switching over and transition going to the ring from the video. There's still issues with audio. They ain't no lie. So they need to address that. It is getting very annoying, and I understand they're still very new, but they got to start getting a handle on it. One of the good things that happened in production was Taz. He's in my face with the crew. I heard the rumors that Taz may become the general manager, or he may now take over in commentary. Having Taz there on commentary made the show a lot better. I'm not lying here, guys. The show flowed way better with Taz there because I'm going to say it like this. I don't hate JR. JR works well with Tony Schiavone to a certain extent. But JR doesn't work very well with Excalibur. And let's be honest, Excalibur is JR, but in a younger form. He is not a color commentator. He's not a blow-by-blow wrestling commentator. He may used to go in the ring, or he may still go in the ring, but he doesn't do a blow-by-blow analysis of what's going on in the ring. He just doesn't do it very well. But Taz does. Taz has that feel. It's like this. If you have to have a three-man crew, it should be Schiavone, it should be Taz, and it should be Excalibur. And if you need someone to be a general manager, make JR the general manager. I know that'll probably suck, but having a legend as a general manager would make better sense. And since JR is supposed to do it down the middle the way he always is, it would make sense. It would give him something new, to be honest. But for me personally, Taz on commentary was a treat. I loved it. First match, Darby Allin versus Cody. I didn't understand what was the point of this match. Yes, they had a draw back last year. But what does Darby Allin actually get in this situation? Unless he's going to be getting a title match, I just don't see it. I don't see that he gains anything here. Was it a great match? I believe it was the best match of the night. That's just me, and it's not because Cody was great. I just do believe Darby Allin was really compelling. And like I said before, I'm not a high-flying fan. I'm not. But Darby Allin does have an interesting persona. And it made sense to me personally that he looked the best here. But he didn't win. You got Cody Rhodes with Art Anderson by his side as his manager, which makes sense. Not getting anywhere with Cody. You're making Cody look bad, so now you're going to bring in Art Anderson to try and bring him up. Gotta do something with Cody. So having him with us, having Art as a general manager, as his manager, I'm about to say general manager, as his manager makes sense. But here's the problem I have personally. Because eventually Cody is going to creep his way back into the main title scene, it's a question, what is he? What is he? Is he turning heel? Is he staying face? It's a question mark for me personally because of the way he acted in the ring. You got Art acting like Art. He is a heel. He's going to do what he can to get whoever he's working with over, but just felt like, is Cody a heel now? Should he turn heel? Of course he can't because he's messing with MJF. Now let's get to MJF. I'm jumping around, ladies and gentlemen. MJF with Wardlow. Fine. I enjoyed it, but here's the problem. MJF with that ring makes no damn sense. Unless that ring leads to a championship, I don't see any real reason to even care about the ring that's around his damn finger that he kisses. But they're going to have a match at Revolution. And the steps is this. I'll fight you at Revolution. That's one step. The second stipulation is that I want to see you face Wardlow in the steel cage. That's the second stipulation. The third stipulation, he wants to whoop his ass 10 lashes. Now, I don't understand the concept of that. Because is that what will happen after Revolution? That if MJF wins, he gets to whip Cody? Or is that what he has to go through to get the match at Revolution? They didn't really make that clear. I didn't understand it. I was very confused. You guys tell me below. Is the whipping supposed to be if MJF wins at Revolution? Or is the whipping supposed to happen before Revolution so he can have the match with MJF? And I'm talking about Cody Rhodes. I just don't know. The women's fatal four-way. You got Britt Baker. You had Sheeta. You got Rio the champion. And you got the Nyla Rose. And I got to say this. It was a good match. It wasn't bad. Well, let me crank that back. It was a good match at the end. When they became way more physical. The beginning of the match felt like they were protecting Rio. I'm sorry. If anybody else didn't see that, that's what I saw. Rio seemed to be protected by Britt Baker. Shia. It just felt like they were protecting her. Nia wasn't really protecting her that much. And I got to say this about Nyla Rose. Nia's green. We know this. Nia's probably had maybe 4 or 5 or even 6 years of experience. I don't know how many years she's been in the wrestling business. I don't know. But I haven't checked. And I don't really want to know. As I've always said, I don't want to delve deep into wrestling because that can take away the mystique, the mystery of it for me personally. I don't want to get so deep into it that I lose the enjoyment of it. So I was cool with that. The thing that was very interesting for me personally, during part of that match, if you didn't notice, Nyla Rose's clothes popped open and her black bra was shown with those titties of hers. This was an interesting situation. She didn't stop wrestling. I think, I'm going to be honest here. I understand she chose to become a woman. And I got no problem with that. I got no 100% problem with her making that choice. More power to her. But here's the thing. If this was another women's wrestler, I think maybe, just maybe, she would have stopped wrestling, hit herself, and tried to fix her top. Now, doesn't mean that other women wrestlers haven't done the same thing as her. And just wrestled their ass off and didn't make a difference. But it makes me wonder, was her attitude more of a flat-out wrestler that doesn't give a damn? Or maybe some aspects of who she once was as a male a little bit? Now, I'm not trying to cause a controversy here. It's just a little bit of a question. What do you guys think? Was that because she just saw herself as a wrestler? Or maybe the little bit of the male thought is still there a little bit? because she has a female personality, possibly with some male traits still there, and she just wanted to get it done. She didn't care. That's how some men would do it. They just don't care. They'll just get it done. Now, women do it too. But I just want to know what you guys think. For me personally, I think she was just, well, my top's open, my titties are showing. Well, I mean, there's no nipples showing or anything. Not trying to be disrespectful, guys. But my bra's showing, my tits are showing. I'm just going to keep wrestling. My guess is she was just trying to be a basic wrestler and she didn't care what people saw. She's going to do her business. That's just what I think. But you guys tell me below. In the end, Rio won, which made no sense. And then when you see the interview, they tried to save it and bring out Britt Baker saying, hey, you just stole that from me. And this is interesting seeing you here when honestly, you're never here, but I'm always here. I'm always here. Unlike you, always never being here. And she walks away while Rio with the guy that's usually there, what is his name, Michael? He's translating for her. They're trying to save it, but let's be honest here, guys. Rio has been a bad choice in champion. There was only three you could have chosen as champ. You got Nyla Rose, who was green. She was unknown. She was green, yes, but she was a big-ass woman that would make best sense. Then you got Awesome Kong. Awesome Kong made the best sense because she has experience and she's a big-ass woman, but she wasn't there. And then you have Britt Baker, who has been on the show so much. It makes perfect sense to put her there, no matter if she had the experience or not. She'd been there more than anybody else. So this is what you got. If you wasn't going to put Allie in that position, Britt Baker made the best sense. But in this situation, because of the situation with the alien, I forgot her name, Price, I believe. That's her name, because I can't remember the woman that pretty much, I'm going to have to say this quickly, because I have heard the situation about her working with Barroom Wrestling. I can't remember the exact name of the promotion she was going to. Honestly speaking, whether it was the officials at AEW that messed this up or her, it don't make no difference. Honestly speaking, this is a bad situation where Rio had to win this to book her next week for this woman. Whether she deserved the title shot or not, after this situation with the other promotion, either AEW botched this or she botched it or didn't tell them at all. It makes no difference. This just looks bad for AEW, period. That's just how I feel about it. It don't make a difference which party messed up, if it was both of them, AEW or this woman, or not. It could be one of them. I don't care. It just looks bad. This should have happened. And to be honest, either it shouldn't have happened or it should have happened and Rio shouldn't have kept the title. This just looks bad. Moxley versus Trent, formerly known as Trent Beretta. Was this a good match? Yes, it was okay. Was this about... Once I saw Sammy Guevara come out a couple of times, I knew this had to be about Moxley making the choice. Is he going to go with the Inner Circle or not? And once you saw Chris outside with a Ford GT, and he's saying it's millions of dollars. No, if it's an old Ford GT, maybe from 2002, maybe, you might have near $1 million. As far as I know, that's like $300,000 or $400,000 car. I'm not exactly sure. It could either be between $200,000 or $400,000. A Ford GT. I know they don't make a lot of them, but it's got to be under $500,000. Him saying that is a little exaggerated, but they really tried to ham this up, saying, look, join me, become an Inner Circle. Here's the thing. It looks very telegraphed that Moxley's not going to agree to this. And offering him a vice presidency of the Inner Circle LLC sounds interesting. But here's the thing. You know what will make this work better? A freaking TV title would make this better. That Chris has set up a new title that he convinced AEW officials to create a new title. And he said, I'm going to get you that title. If he said that, this would make better sense. Because going into Revolution, wouldn't it make sense to have a new title in the works? Look at NWA Power at Into the Fire. You got Stu Bennett, who's Wade Barrett, presenting the new AEW television title. They brought it back. I saw Into the Fire. And essentially speaking, wouldn't it make sense at Revolution to have a new title and then try to make it twisted that you got Chris Jericho finding a way to make Moxley get a shot at that title? Wouldn't it make sense? You guys tell me below. Moxley won the match, and that talk with the car and Chris still with the offer was there. It wasn't not too bad. And Moxley saying he's going to be explaining it next week. Cool. But let's move on. I'm going to say this. The ending match. And I know I could talk about what happened with Hangman Page, but I'll get to that in a minute. Let's get to the Elite versus Lucha Brothers and Pac. A.K.A. Pac. I didn't understand what this situation is about. I'm sorry, guys. Was the match good? Yes. Seeing one tag match was fine because the last matches we had before the hiatus was all tag matches, and it was way too repetitious. There was too many tag matches. They needed to mix it up. Here, at least they gave us singles matches and one tag match. But to be honest, they could have, left out a couple of matches, like one match. And I know I could talk about what happened with Dustin Rose, and I'll get to that in this tag match. But I felt they could have done less matches and more character development. Because when it came to this match, it was good. And in the end, the Elite wins. And then they're trying to ask Hangman Page to join them. And he's not doing that. Drinking some liquor and being frustrated with himself that he is not where he wants to be. He goes into a bar where private parties having their interview. And he pisses them off, and now next week he's going to have a match, and I don't remember who the person he's going to be matching with. But what is the point of the ending of the show? What is the point of Hangman Page and the Elite? Dustin Rhodes, I understand, he wants revenge on the Inner Circle because they smashed his hand and his arm. Was it his hand or his forearm? I can't remember. But essentially, seeing this, you wonder, where are they going with the Elite? What about the Lucha Brothers and Pac? Shouldn't the Pac have more rage against Hangman Page because he may have lost first to a Kenny Omega? But don't you think Hangman Page would make better sense because he's had more interaction with him and lost more with him? I know people are going to say, well, Hangman Page didn't lose that much to Pac. But yes, but wouldn't it make sense to have Pac, or Pac as I like to call him, have his rage from losing to Hangman Page and raise to Kenny Omega, and he just a flip of a switch, and he decimates Hangman Page, and then he decimates everybody else, and then he goes back to Kenny Omega, and that's as, guess what, maybe a television champ? Or have Kenny Omega become a television champ, and then you see Pac wanting revenge because his first real loss was to Kenny, and it comes full circle back to Kenny. Here it just feels like they're spinning the wheels a little bit. I know character development is still very early. I understand that, but it feels like they can do more. I really believe what happened with Dustin and Sammy Guevara match didn't need to happen. They didn't need that match. The Fatal 4-Way with the women, it wasn't a bad match. At the end, it was pretty good. The beginning felt like they were protecting Rio. But because of the situation with the bad logistics of Rio dealing with the alien, just puts a bad taste in my mouth because this match happened. Rio does not lose, and it looks bad for AEW, no matter if it was her fault or AEW officials. It just felt like it could have been better. They could have done more. They could have given us way more character development than wrestling content. I just feel like they could have done more. But that's just me. You guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. And I'm going to see if I can do my NWA Power Review tomorrow, because it did come out today, but I forgot about it. I didn't check to see if it was on YouTube yet, because it wasn't there Tuesday. It was here Wednesday, but I didn't have time to see it. So hopefully I'll be able to have it tomorrow. Peace.